This is the beginning of a 249-mile ride, down 14 onto 4, and then a little bit of 7, and into Burlington, Vermont, and then back home. I am no longer going to be monetizing my channel. It's risk versus reward. It's just not there. I want to put different music on, do different things with my channel, and it's not worth dealing with all the commercials. That's one thing I hate about YouTube, is even though you can skip them, every one of the same commercials comes up. It just makes it that much less for us. As far as me getting gas at that gas station, it was VP Racing Fuels, and I figured maybe they would be better quality. They did sell 91 octane, and that's what the non-ethanol gas is around here. Most of the other ethanol gas is 93 octane, and I thought that would be better, and maybe they put better additives in it, being VP. I've never seen a VP station before. That's Limehurst Lake. There's a water slide there, kind of fun. And going down this road, it gets rough, and then you'll see it actually starts new pavement, and I get held up for about 5 minutes, which is pretty unusual for Vermont, but come to find out it's a peckerwood on a tractor, and I take care of him in short order. There's actually a cop that you don't see in this video. Right after I pass the tractor, there's a state boy coming my way, but he didn't do anything. He was cool. I want to talk about add-ons on bikes. I've been contemplating getting rid of the catalytic converter on the ZX10, and I'm looking at about $1,000 by the time I do the power commander and have somebody set it up and put a halfway decent pipe on it. There's some Two Brothers M2 shorty pipes that I would absolutely enjoy seeing on that bike. Unfortunately, like I said, the $1,000 is there, and they're not really telling me whether or not it's going to gain me a whole lot of power, which is relatively disappointing, because I know that bike is capable of making a good 30 more horsepower than it does. So at this point, it's nothing I'm going to go for. I owned a 2000 Hayabusa, and that had an RS3 Yosh with the power commander, and it was set up to be, with that map, 7 horsepower more and 1 foot-pound more torque, which, at the time I was a young man, wanted a big bad fast bike, so I did it. And it lost 30 pounds, which was substantial. Went from a 4-2 to a 4-1, and that was another big deal for me. At the time, I was probably 60 pounds lighter, so I didn't have any weight to lose. And now, if I want to shed some weight, it should be off me and not the bike. The whole deal with that, I think, is what you're going to do with a bike. Like, if I was going to race it all the time, it probably would be worth opening everything up, because I was going to run it at a high RPM all its life. But the fact that the exhausts have valves in them to give you the low end power, that's something I don't really want to mess with, and they are so perfect as far as, there's no hesitation in the throttle, and there's no backfiring. They're very economical. I'm getting 40 plus with the ZX10, and I've gotten over 60 miles a gallon with the Z1000, which is unbelievable. Depends, of course, how you ride it, but this is where I'm saying the pavement is no good here. That's Vermont's story, and most of New England's, I guess. Well, I guess all of the infrastructure of the whole country is kind of going to shit. But anyhow, the add-ons are pretty much up to you. You know what you want to do with your bike. Some stuff makes sense. Frame sliders, like my breakaway levers on the Z1000, so they fold up instead of snapping. Stuff like that's relatively inexpensive and smart. I would say, you know, the exhaust, if you want your bike to sound, you know, better or louder or whatever, then you got to do something with your exhaust. But if you're just going to put a slip-on, you know, you're really not going to see any difference in power at all. You might even fuck up everything as far as listening to backfire and stuff like that, which some guys like, whatever. So that's everybody's own choice to what they want to do with their machines. The safety on a bike, I think that's a real misconception, because I've done crazy stuff on bikes all my life and never been hurt, and I almost died in a car doing about 30 miles an hour. A lady where I got in my accident, she died with 3 of her grandkids. So, you know, when it's your time, it's your time. I got hit in a toy run that's actually coming up this weekend by a Harley, and that was about the worst bike accident I've ever been in. And that was nothing major. It did total a Triumph that I had, but it was simply because it scarred so many pieces of the bike. They totaled it. The bike was fully functional. You know, I rode it home. It didn't leak any fluids. Started up when I picked it up. So that's just the insurance game there. But I think if you want a motorcycle, don't let that be a consideration. You know, people used to say, oh, you got a donor cycle and all that, and you know, murder cycles. But that's mostly just ignorance. Like I said, you're a lot more maneuverable and easier to stop if something does occur. Where you can lane split, of course, you know, that makes everybody's life better. It's safer. So there's a lot of advantages. That's why those countries that have huge populations are all on scooters and things like that, because it's a must-have. I mean, if everybody had cars, nobody'd go anywhere. This road here, now that I'm running on all new pavement, it actually connects to Route 4, and there's Pico Mountain, which has an alpine slide. It's like a cement slope with little carts that you can roll down. They're pretty cool. Kind of like a bobsled or something like that. And sometimes people will get hurt, get earrings ripped out and shit like that, but nothing too serious. It's a very pretty day today. One of the good days of Vermont. Actually, this weekend's supposed to be really nice. There's a car show happening, and the toy run is going to happen. That's to benefit the Shriners Hospitals, which is an excellent cause. I have not ridden in it in 4 years because of the mishap with the Triumph. If you want to mess with my day, mess with my bike. That will definitely do the trick for me. So anyways, I will probably be bringing the Z, but maybe not, because I have the tank mount on the ZX10. Yeah, this is a really good ride. I wind up going around Lake Dunmore, which is nice, and go down into Burlington, and I do some, not so much lane splitting, but bicycle lane splitting. There was a ton of traffic down close to Burlington, and I mean ridiculous amounts. I'm not used to dealing with that sort of thing. This is where I find out it's a tractor holding everything up, because like I said, normally, you know, construction doesn't make you wait more than a couple minutes at best, and I waited here probably close to 5 minutes, if not more, and I had some sputtering going on in my helmet. I also noticed how quiet the fans are on this Kawasaki Z1000. I was actually afraid that they didn't work because I could never hear them. But I like literally had to put my head down close to the engine and I could see the temperature falling. So I knew it was working, but holy cow, is it wicked quiet. And after I pass, there's actually a state boy coming. But I just barely missed him. Right here I spin. And I actually wound up hitting about 4 other road signs. Fortunately, they weren't as bad as this one. But that's it for me. I will be giving you some new tunes and trying out some different stuff. Always accepting new ideas and tips. Now it's free for all as far as my channel is concerned, and that's going to make it a little bit more fun for me. Really didn't like having to deal with, oh, can I put this on or can I not? One of my last videos there at the track, there's some music in the background from my vehicle, and I got a report that they couldn't view it in Germany because of that music.